हा 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 हा। तो जोक था दोस्त, ये तो जोक था। ये जोक किस लिए था? ये जोक था लॉयल्टी चेक करने के लिए। आपको क्या लग रहा है हम ऐसे ही चले जाते हैं, इंटरनेट हमारा चले जाता है? हम ऐसी जगहों पे नहीं जाते जहाँ इंटरनेट जाता है। हमने खुद काटा है। खुद इसलिए काटा है क्योंकि आप जो यहाँ पे 80 लोगों की संख्या बन गई थी, 100 तक जा रहा था। हमने कहा यार व्हाई शुड वी टेक यू फॉर ग्रांटेड एंड व्हाई शुड यू टेक अस फॉर ग्रांटेड। तो हमने किया धोखा। धोखा क्योंकि हम आगे देखना चाहते थे 80 से 90 वापस आएंगे कि नहीं। आशीष शर्मा इज द फर्स्ट वन टू जॉइन। किसेस टू यू मेरे दोस्त पप्पी, कि आप आए हैं हमारे साथ। ये है ट्रू फैन नंबर वन, सुपर वन 420 ग्राम्स के व्यूअर। आई डोंट लाइक द वर्ड फैन, आई एम सॉरी फॉर दैट। पवनीत पैनी, इट्स गुड टू सी यू। गौरव जैन, इट्स गुड टू सी यू। ये तो ट्रिक था दोस्त कि कहाँ गए। और जो जो वापस आ रहे हैं, इससे ना आपको क्या कहते हैं, असली 420 ग्राम्स वाला जो है उससे आज पता चल जाएगा। Darren Caldera, Jaideep Basu, Siddhant Tani, it's good to see you guys. We already knew, we had planned this, so we guys were chilling. कोई कॉफी पीने चले गया था, कोई ये हमने प्लान किया था कि एग्जैक्टली 5 से 7 मिनट करेंगे, रेस्ट लेंगे और फिर देखते हैं कितने बच्चे वापस आएंगे। और आप वापस आ रहे, दिल जीत लिया आप लोगों ने, बड़ा अच्छी बात है। जाने से पहले डैरन, वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट यू नो हाउ बिजार this COVID situation is, and suddenly we did something so bizarre. So you can see that we planned it also. You know, that we brought it together like that. Jaideep sir, आप बात कर रहे थे ना कि चाहते हुए ना चाहते हुए कंट्रोवर्सी तो बड़े टूर्नामेंट में होती ही है, चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए। और इस बारी भी शुरू हो गई बिकॉज देयर आर सो मेनी पीपल, नॉट जस्ट फ्रॉम द इंग्लिश or the Scottish or the Croatian camp. People like Peter Cech are talking about it. They're saying, what is this bizarre rule? And there's so many more who are talking about it and taking to social media or different platforms to say that this is such a bizarre rule. In fact, Vaibhav, our producer, put out a nice picture saying the Croatian authorities have said that you put us at risk. What is this double standard that you made us play with Scotland for?
Yeah, and one more thing which I was telling you, which has really surprised me, is the change of rule, because variation of rules is not allowed in international tournament. I remember, and once the tournament starts, AFC or UEFA or FIFA has the right final say. I remember when India were hosting the Under-17 World Cup, then the central government had to give an undertaking before the tournament that FIFA rules will be the final. And not only central government, all the 6 states which held the tournament matches, which held the matches, even the state governments had to give an undertaking that that we will be abided by the FIFA rules and the AFC rules. But here the situation is so different, and it is such an emergency situation that UEFA has allowed the respective countries to have their own rules and play according to that. Which is very not strange. I said we have never seen it before. Before, the Football Federation used to act like that they are the last word in all these things, except for law and order, of course. But here it is changed. I don't know. So
I just feel this for either Siddhant or Darren. I think kahani abhi baki hai. The fallout, because if the fallout, whatever happens, it'll probably happen in the next 7 to 10 days. Not right now. You'll probably get.
Yeah, I think, but also what Darren was mentioning, earlier when we were chatting, is that it's not that by any means this crisis or this pandemic has been brought under control. The Delta variant is kind of rearing its ugly head in different parts of Europe, and for health authorities, this is not any kind of like laughing matter or anything to be taken lightly at all. So I'm not sure if this kind of flexibility and this kind of lack of clarity on who's going to take a final call or what the protocols are. I mean, just yesterday, because a colleague of ours is trying to plan his process to go to the Olympics to cover to Japan to cover the Olympics, and so I was going through a 65-page playbook, right, on how this is just for the press, there are different sets of rules for different stakeholders, whether your workforce, your press, your broadcaster, your athlete, your official. Everyone has a different set of rules for the Olympics of how to operate. 14 days before you are entering Japan, 14 days, the first 14 days that you are in Japan, depending on what your exact role and involvement with the games is, right? So you have to have these kind of super strict and super well-defined protocols in place if you are going to hold a massive tournament like this while a pandemic is also raging. I mean, it just makes no sense to do it otherwise. And I'm not sure what the thought process is. I've not really seen anything concrete from anyone saying like, okay, इस सोच विचार से हम आ रहे हैं और इस बेसिस पे हम ये डिसीजन ले रहे हैं.
Darren, off topic, how many COVID tests did you undergo when in the ISL bubble?
So I was there for 2 months, and it was basically a test every 3 days. So I guess that many amount of tests. I mean 60, so that's 20 odd tests.
So by then, the guy who's coming and testing you, you guys have become best friends and all. Or aaj kaisa?
Yeah, no. So the thing was, a lot of the tests were done at 8 a.m. in the morning. So they would come to your room, and I remember a lot of the tests in my sleep, just getting up and opening the door and getting the thing shoved up my nose and my throat and out, shut the door and go back to sleep. So I think even Siddharth must have done it if they had early morning tests. So I was doing it that way. It just became like a routine. Yeah. But, just touching up on what Siddharth also mentioned about this COVID situation, I'm thinking about it. I think UEFA, anyways, there was a lot of risk taken having this tournament with the fans. And I feel like they've reached a point where ki kuch bhi karke, we have to just make this happen. The show must go on, but it must go on at what risk and, what is at stake also. We need to keep that in mind. Going back to Denmark's game also and that unfortunate incident with Ericsson, and there were reports after that saying that they were given an option to either forfeit the match or play the next day straight away. It wasn't like chalo, we'll think about how we can work around this, players getting affected and things like that. They went ahead with it. The players came out in a bit and the match continued, right? And then looking at this situation again, it's not like they're really looking at other options where we can figure out how to go about this. They're like, chalo, 2 players isolate, this one isolate, match must go on straight away. So questions have to be asked also because like he mentioned the Delta variant, the UK are hit with like 30% more cases just before, they had their first home game only. So it is a situation right now in Europe when you're having players traveling, fans traveling from all over. So like we had on one of our previous shows also, Sharda mentioned, we won't know now, but maybe a month from now, how bad the situation actually is in the UK or any part of Europe for that matter.
Fair point. Just before we move on to our final subject, आप लोगों से कभी झूठ बोली है नहीं, सच ही बता देता हूँ. हमारा इंटरनेट चले गया था एंड हमारा जो हार्ड वर्किंग प्रोड्यूसर है वो जल्दी से किराने की दुकान पे भागा और उसने 25 रुपए का रिचार्ज कराया डोंगल पे. तो हमारे पास अभी शो पे भी 3 मिनट ही हैं क्योंकि फिर वो डोंगल भी खत्म हो जाएगा. तो 3 मिनट बाकी हैं. सो लेट्स हेड इनटू आवर फाइनल सेगमेंट व्हिच इज कॉल्ड वेब की बातें. हाँ जी, वेब की बातें. वेब की बातें, we're serving it like a bit of a preview because today, is such a huge day at the Euros. You've got Portugal taking on France and you've got Germany taking on Hungary. And all 4 teams still stand a chance of qualifying. Anything is possible. Germans, they possibly need a point. Portugal also needs a point. France needs a point. And then the 3 teams, they can qualify as the top 3 from that group. But आपको एक वीडियो दिखा देते हैं. German team में ना थोड़ा माहौल थोड़ा अच्छा बना हुआ है after that hammering of Portugal that they did. Just take a look at this music video. Music video? सब गा रहे हैं, मजे में हैं. First you take a look at this video and then we talk about that. I said, hey, what's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey. सर व्हाट्स गोइंग ऑन इज कि आपको 1 पॉइंट चाहिए, नहीं तो यू आर गोइंग होम. बात तो ये है. और आपको हंगरी के खिलाफ मैच जीतना है. द गुड पार्ट इज दैट इट्स हैपनिंग इन म्यूनिक and so home support is there for the Germans, and I don't think Darren, I don't think we can even foresee now that the Germans will miss it, right? If you'd say you'd bet your money on France and Germany as the top 2 and then a bit of a lottery between Portugal and Hungary, कौन आगे जाएगा?
Yeah, I don't see Germany after that second game really not winning this one. There are some reports that I think Müller could be missing this game through injury, if I'm not wrong, which will be a big loss for Germany. But then they've got, the likes of Leroy Sané, they've got your Timo Werner, Voland. They've got a lot of players up front. So, but then again, they're much stronger side than Hungary. We've seen Hungary are a team that don't concede a lot of goals, like defend well. I'm sorry, not concede a lot of goals. They defend well, but
Yeah.
Germany look like they've got their mojo back. Yeah, that free flowing football happened in the second game, and you expect them to do that in this game as well. So I see Germany going through, and then with France Portugal, I think France are the better side. They are the better team, and I feel like France will get the better of Portugal.
सर आज तो गलती नहीं करोगे. आज कौन सी गेम देखोगे? आज फ्रांस ही पोर्चुगल देखोगे.
फ्रांस पोर्टुगल. अगर वो लास्ट में पता चला कि वो भी गलती हो गया तो
उसमें आई डोंट थिंक गलती होगी. Jose Mourinho साहब ने बड़ी hitting. If you guys haven't heard him on TalkSport, then do check out Jose Mourinho on TalkSport. It is really the insights he's giving you on the players he's coached and the teams at Euro. It makes for good listening. And he said a very nice thing, Jerry sir, that Portugal need to play with 11 men in their final game, because so far in their first two games they played with 10, because Bruno Fernandes has been on a picnic in these first two games.
I think he's a bit harsh on the players.
He wasn't involved, sir. Last game तो दिखा ही नहीं बिल्कुल भी.
वो देखा नहीं. That could be some other reasons for it. He didn't. Of course, he was being played at the same position. It's not that he has been given a new role or something like that. But let us see. He might come back today. So see, I remember one. I'll just add on with a small incident in 1997. It was at the Kathmandu, India. We were playing the soft football, and I remember first four matches. Baichung Bhutia played a kind of football which was almost like dropping in from the final. And I remember Baichung spoke to me and Siddharth Saxena, both of us, and he says, I am playing football like a forward. So, and the final, he was the man of the match. In the final, he was the man. So footballers have.
But that's so वो Baichung की game है ना sir. वो Baichung नहीं दिखेगा, suddenly he'll pop up, he'll score 2 goals, and that's it. Baichung's job is done.
Yeah.
No, what I mean to say that players do have their problems, do have their something. So one fine day they might Luka Modric to see what did he play in the other 2 matches.
Yeah.
What did he play yesterday? So it's not easy to dismiss someone like I think the coach is a bit harsh on the player. He should be a little more sympathetic.
So, just linking it up to yesterday's chat that we were having in the context of Chetri and domestic season versus international games, and what's the balance, how many games per season is a good number in order to, so now that we have so many like sort of data guys and everyone's sharing their sources and we're getting to read a lot of good stuff. One of the things I was seeing was that Bruno Fernandes has played the most amount of minutes and games of any player involved in this competition since May of last year, right? The equivalent of more than 70 full games of football, like so 2,600 plus minutes.
International club goals.
In terms of appearances, it's like 81 or 82 games. So maybe he's just sick of playing football, yeah.
Could be. Darren, do you feel it after, say, you've done 40-50 games and there comes a phase where you're like, yeah, I'm just not ready. Kitna bhi main taiyari kar दूं, I'm not ready. I'm not feeling it on the field.
I wish I could say that after having a 40-50 game season, but you can't really say that. But I get this bit about the whole burnout and mentally that happens sometimes with training. When you keep training towards the end of the season, you ask any of the players when you're nearing the end of the season, you just get like, the training gets repetitive. You feel like you want a break. That's when coaches come and give you, sometimes a day off, maybe when it's not even required to switch off and things like that. But like Jaideep sir said, I feel it's a bit harsh on Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, he's somebody who's been playing so well for so long. But, tournament format is that way. Yeah. 1-2 games you don't play well and suddenly everyone is after you. And that happens with the top players. You're only, as good as your last game. People forget what you've done throughout. They just remember the last 1 or 2 games and they're like, "Arey, kya kar raha hai? Kaisa khel raha hai?" I mean, I think it's a bit harsh on Bruno. Like, I mean, the next game he plays, maybe he plays tonight, gets a goal and assist, and everyone's going to forget about it and be like,
So
oh.
are you suggesting Portugal is beating France tonight? Is that what you're hinting at?
I'm hinting at possibly him scoring, getting an assist, but then they'll outscore them with your Mbappe and Benzema up front. I still feel France will beat
Kids are writing Mbappe versus Semedo, RIP.
It's Mbappe versus anybody, RIP pretty much at the moment. Yeah, I don't see very few defenders can really match up to his pace. Yeah, he's one of those guys. So
Really, man.
yeah, so Mbappe is Mbappe, but yeah, I mean, we got to cut him a bit of slack here. Yeah, Bruno Fernandes, just 2 games. So let's see tonight how he fares.
Okay, quickly, guys. This is
also the bit that Josie perhaps is not sort of focusing on is club sides.
Jose.
Yeah.
Jose Marino.
Club sides have a very different schedule, very different time that they get to train together, etc. With the national team set up with Portugal now, it takes a while, for even players who have so much experience and are playing so much to fit into how the team operates and how those kind of things will work out. Obviously, the Portugal squad very different from Bruno Fernandes, how he plays or what role or what he has around him when he plays club football. So that's something that also I don't think is being considered. And yeah, overall I agree with you guys. Pretty harsh on the guy.
भाई बता दो फिर तीन टीमें बता दो जल्दी. I'll just ask everyone and then we'll end the show. आज की 3 टीमें जो आगे निकलने वाली.
I think we'll all agree on the same teams. I'm pretty sure no one's.
So Hungary को आप नहीं दे रहे बिल्कुल भी.
मैं तो नहीं दे रहा हूँ. Let's see what you guys.
No, if Hungary comes, that will be very unfortunate. This much I can say.
But they played well, sir, versus France. They played well,
but they played well up to first round. They are a good team for the first round.
From a tournament perspective, you want the 3 big boys to go.
They are very unfortunate to be in that group also. And they have to accept it. If they go in and somebody else, that will be bad for the tournament.
Fair point. Done. So I think all of us agree on who the 3 teams are that will be moving forward. जाते जाते आपको एक बार फिर से याद दिला दें भाई हम हैं Instagram पे, हम हैं Twitter पे, हम हैं Spotify पे. So if you aren't following us, subscribing us in all these places, then do go do it. And to all the people who came back in this little experiment that we did, आप हो असली सिपाही 420 grams. आप. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am a 420 grams का सिपाही. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.